Aviva Premiership reached round 19 in a week where the future of European rugby was settled after months of intensive debate. Domestically, there was still much to resolve for clubs across the league as the race for the playoffs began to really heat up. The Friday night game involved two clubs attempting to force their way into top four contention as Conor O'Shea's Harlequins visited the Sharks. Sale exerted some early pressure, and with just 5 minutes gone they shifted the ball at pace, finding Tom Brady with space on the wing. Quins could ill afford to lose focus after this early setback, and with quarter of an hour gone they put together some patient build-up before Nick Evans ghosted through the Sharks' defence and powered his way to the line. His brilliant solo effort was followed up by a couple of successful kicks, and suddenly Quins were in charge. After a forceful Mike Brown break, they were on the cusp of the Sale try line. And Danny Kerr was on hand to glide over unopposed to give his side a 10-point cushion. Quins added a third try through Sam Smith, but there was drama on the hour mark. Brady again finding space out wide, and it looked as though he had dragged his side back into the match. However, referee Wayne Barnes decided to call on the TMO, who ruled that the Sharks had knocked on earlier in the build-up. Sale never really got over that disappointment, and defeat was compounded as Maori Paasavalo notched the bonus point for the London outfit. Despite a late consolation score for the hosts, it was a victory that could prove decisive come May. Fierce rivals Bath and Gloucester played out a fascinating derby at Kingsholm, aided when Bath flanker Carl Ferns was yellow-carded. Billy 12-3 dispatched the resultant penalty, giving the hosts a 9-3 lead. Nigel Davis's men were holding on to their advantage against high-flying Bath, but were dealt a huge blow on 50 minutes as Sila Pofita saw red for a high tackle on Nick Abendanon. Just minutes later, Bath skipper Stuart Hooper forced home his side's advantage, Gloucester unable to halt the rolling maul. Temperatures were rising between the sides, but 12-3 held his nerve to slot a penalty that nudged the hosts back in front. And with 10 minutes to play, Gloucester struck again, this time Henry Trinder beating the last man before sliding over. To the delight of the coaching team. Bath were pushing hard for the score, and with a pair of yellow cards for Mike Tyndall and Huia Edmonds, the hosts were down to 12 men. Bath's huge numerical advantage told, and as they drove towards the line, referee Tim Wigglesworth awarded the penalty try. With 1 point in the match, George Ford had the easiest of conversions to win it for Bath, and he held his nerve in front of the baying crowd, grabbing a vital victory for Bath. Leicester's rich vein of form in the league gave them confidence going into their clash with Wasps. After a tightly contested opening, the Tigers' pack made inroads, giving England centre Manu Tuilagi the platform to break through for the first try. Wasps were lying in 7th place going into this contest, a position that will be highly significant with the new structure in European rugby. And they forced their way back into the contest after a good pick-up from Ed Jackson. It was Guy Thompson who carried over for the score. But Dai Young's men were dealt a body blow just before half-time as Nicky Gonover celebrated renewing his contract at Welford Road with a typically assured finish, which survived the scrutiny of the TMO. The momentum stayed with the hosts in the second period as Tuilagi grabbed his second try of the afternoon with some powerful running. Wasps had not given up hope of taking at least a point away from Welford Road, and as Elliot Daly chipped through for Tommy Bell to score, their hopes of a losing bonus point were rekindled. But Tigers were undeterred and pushed on in search of that crucial fourth try, and they found it through David Melee diving over from short range. Warriors' first league win of the season in round 18 gave them a glimmer of hope in an otherwise desperate season. But they made the worst possible start at Six Ways, allowing Chiefs scrum half Dave Lewis a clear passage for the score. Chiefs piled on the pressure, racking up 2 tries in as many minutes through Sam Hill and then Gareth Steenson. but there was life from the hosts yet as they notched a brace of tries themselves. Chris Pennell got the rally going, and then a wonderful effort from departing winger David Lemmy, dragging Worcester back into the game. Exeter held their nerve and forced over the bonus point try on the stroke of half-time. Jack Yandel with the score. A further try for each side left the Chiefs with a 13-point advantage, which was dented by Lemmy's second try and Worcester's fourth, giving the Warriors their first try bonus point of the season. But it was not enough to avoid defeat. With 3 games to go, they can hold little hope of a Premiership reprieve. It was a notable day at the Allianz, as Sarries captain Steve Borthwaite became the most capped Premiership player in history. The game befitted the occasion as the top 2 sides fought out for control of the league. Sarries came out of the blocks quickest, Owen Farrell putting David Strettle in with a neat kick and composed finish. Last time Northampton visited North London was last season's semi-final, and on that day they overpowered Sarries up front. The forwards were keen to exert pressure again, and after a powerful drive forced the penalty try. Their lead did not last long though, with some destructive running from the hosts opening up the Saints' defences. The ball eventually found its way to Kelly Brown, and the Scottish captain made no mistake with the finish. A flurry of penalty kicks gave Sarries a commanding lead, and as Brown made a nuisance of himself again, it was Marcelo Bosch with the finishing touch. But Northampton would not go down easily. England star man Luther Burrell started the revival, managing to crown the ball with the slimmest of margins.
You may award the try.
And the TMO was called into action again by Matthew Carley, this time George North under the microscope, but again the try was awarded. That put Saints within 6 points, with Sarries facing a nervy finish. But the league leaders held on to the delight of their record-breaking captain.
Ultimately, it's individual honours are nice, but it's the team that really matters. And I thought the team played some very, very good stuff today. Obviously, went off the boil a little bit towards the end, but to get the result, we're very happy about that.
The final game of the weekend saw a deluge of first-half tries. Unfortunately for the travelling Falcons, all 6 were scored by the Exiles in the Majewski sunshine. Andy Femby got the scoreboard ticking after just 3 minutes, going over from close range against his former club. Newcastle's torrid afternoon continued when Tomas O'Leary charged down, giving Fergus Mold-Crone the chance to dot down for Irish. The disparity between the sides was summed up by Blair Cowan ripping the ball away from Warren Fury before passing to Femby, who completed his first half hat-trick. After a stern half-time talk, the Falcons came out a changed side in the second, but were still unable to find any way across the Irish try line.
Our exit strategies were executed pretty badly, and as a consequence we started chasing the game. Another 3 tries in the following 20 minutes, whether we went in 40 points down at half-time, which was disgraceful.
So an all-action weekend in the Aviva Premiership draws to a close, and it's Saracens who look untouchable in first place. Tigers' win at Welford Road puts them just 3 points behind their Midland rivals Northampton. Bath's raucous win at Kingsholm sees them keep their top 4 status ahead of Quins and Sharks. The 3-way tangle for 7th place and a spot in the elite European competition is hotting up, with Wasps and Gloucester to play at Twickenham in round 20. Newcastle have not found a league win since October, but with Worcester still 7 points adrift with 3 to play, the North East side look like they can hang on to their Premiership status. For all the latest Aviva Premiership news, visit the official YouTube channel or log on to premiershiprugby.tv.